The winter sun hung low over the Rhineland as the flight of 4 P-51 Mustangs roared eastward, their silver skins gleaming like blades. Captain Michael Mick Rawlins led the group, his thumb tapping restlessly on the throttle as if it were the pulse of his own heart. 24 missions behind him, 3 weeks until rotation home, and just one promise left to keep: never lose another wingman. He'd already lost 2 earlier in the year, one to flak, one to a 109 that dropped out of the sun like a hawk. He saw their faces every time he climbed into the cockpit, but today wasn't supposed to be dangerous. It was meant to be a straightforward escort for the B-17s, smashing what remained of German rail lines. The war was tipping, everyone knew it. Germany was desperate, cornered, bleeding fuel, aircraft and pilots, but a cornered animal was the most dangerous kind. Red lead, this is Red 2. Lieutenant Hal Burrows radioed from the right wing. Any sign of bandits? Negative, Mick replied, but keep your head on a swivel. The weather's clear enough for anything. Ahead, the B-17 formation rumbled like an airborne city. Contrails streamed behind them in curling white ribbons. The horizon was clean, then the world changed. The radio crackled. A bomber crew's voice erupted in sudden panic. Jets! Jets at 7 o'clock high. Me-262s. Mick felt his blood tighten. German jet fighters, the last lethal card the Luftwaffe could play. Fast as lightning, deadly and vertical attacks, impossible to chase in level flight. Red flight, break left, Mick barked. Climb and cut them off. The Mustangs banked hard. Mick scanned the sky, breath held. Then he saw it. A streak of metal slicing through the bomber formation like a silver scythe. A twin-engine Me-262, its nose flashing as it fired into a B-17's flank. The bomber shuddered, one engine bursting into flame. Get him, Burrows shouted. The 262 pulled up into a zoom climb, ready to dive again, but something else moved behind it. Another aircraft, older, smaller, its wings marked with faded Balkenkreuz, and Me-109, the last one Mick expected to see, and it wasn't attacking the B-17s, it was escorting the jet, a veteran guarding a miracle weapon, the T. Phantom 9 rolled toward the Mustangs with the deadly confidence of a man who had survived 5 years of red flight, Mick said quietly. We've got a live one. The 109 came head-on, guns flashing. Mick yanked back on the stick. Tracers stitched the air. Burrows dove under the attack, but the third Mustang, Red 3, took a burst across the engine cowling, trailing black smoke. I'm hit. I'm hit, the pilot yelled. Engine's coughing. Head west and bail out if you need to, Mick ordered. The 109 looped around, stalking the wounded Mustang like a wolf following a limping deer. No, you don't, Mick growled. He slammed the throttle forward. The Merlin engine roared. He closed the distance. The 109 pilot saw him and pulled into a tight climbing turn. Too tight for a rookie. Too precise for anything less than a master. This was no green replacement. This was an ace. The German leveled out, and for a heartbeat, Mick saw the pilot clearly through the canopy. Older, sharp eyes, hard face. A man who had survived Stalingrad, Sicily, the Channel, the Ardennes. This wasn't just another mission for him. It was a last stand. The two fighters spiraled upward in a climbing duel, engines screaming. The Mustang had the edge in power, but the 109 was lighter, nimble. Dancing at the edge of stall like it knew the air better than any man alive, Burrows joined the chase, firing a short burst, but the German snapped into a hammerhead, dropping behind him with terrifying precision. Red 2, break, break, Mick shouted. Burrows pulled a high G barrel roll, just dodging cannon fire. Mick dived in to help, firing long bursts to push the ace off. The 109 rolled away, then climbed toward the Me-262, which was lining up another attack run on the bombers. Mick's heart kicked. If the jet struck again, the B-17 crews below would die. He couldn't let that happen. Red flight, ignore the 109, go for the jet. But the ace had already read his mind. The 109 moved to intercept, crossing directly into Mick's path. The two aircraft closed fast. Too fast. They flashed past each other in a silver blur. Then they turned. A duel. One-on-one. The sky formed their arena. They circled at low altitude now, the world below a frozen patchwork of forest and snow. Mick felt sweat trickle under his oxygen mask. The German flew with eerie calm, always a move ahead, always tightening the noose, Mick jinked left, 109 followed, he dropped. Flaps, 109 matched perfectly. Climbed into the sun, 109 mirrored it. This wasn't just skill, it was artistry. Who the hell are you? Mick whispered. Then the German made his first mistake. He hesitated, just a hesitation, but it was enough. Mick dove, cut inside his turn and lined up a shot. He fired. The rounds clipped the 109's left wing root. Smoke puffed out. The German rolled, recovered, and climbed again. But his engine now coughed a thin line of oil. He leveled off. And then, astonishingly, he wagged his wings, once, twice, a salute, a gesture of respect, then he pulled into a steep climb and bailed. Out. The parachute opened like a white flower against the hard blue sky. His crippled 109 spiraled downward, crashing in a plume of smoke. Mick circled once, watching the pilot descend. Why'd he do that? Burroughs asked softly. Mick didn't answer, because he didn't know. With the threat gone, the ME-262 aborted its attack and streaked southeast, running for home. Mick and Burroughs gave chase but never had a chance. The jet vanished like a ghost. The B-17s made it back across the Rhine. No more losses. Later in the debrief tent, an intelligence officer told Mick the German's identity, Major Lucas Wortmann. 29 confirmed victories, one of the last surviving aces of JG-52. He could have killed Burroughs, could have killed Mick, could have taken a final victory. Instead, he saluted and bowed out of the war. Years later, Mick returned to Germany as a tourist. He visited the field where Wortmann crashed. A small stone memorial stood there, placed by villagers after the war. A pilot, not an enemy. He fought with honor and died with it. Mick removed his cap, letting the cold wind sweep across the grass. You spared me, he whispered. You spared my men. That mattered. He stood in silence for a long moment. Then he saluted the memory of the man who had once saluted him. The last duel of two warriors in a dying sky. A salute exchanged between enemies who had chosen, in their final moments, to be men instead of killers.
Los, schneller! In Stellung! Fertig geladen!